In this video, the third and last in this series, I'm going to show you how MBTileMakerViewer can use GDAL geospatial libraries to make the program even more powerful. GDAL is a set of free open source public domain libraries that can carry out a huge range of geospatial functions. Versions are available that can be installed on any Windows, Mac, or Linux computers. So installation does take some fussing around in the terminal app of your system, but there are good guides online for how to do that. And once you install GDAL, you'll never have to use the terminal again, at least as far as MBTileMaker Viewer is concerned. You can check out my website or look in MBTileMaker Viewer help for links to where and how to install GDAL. This is going to be a short video because it's actually very simple and mostly transparent to the viewer. I'm going to drag into the MBTileMaker Viewer app a GeoTIFF which has embedded geospatial metadata in it. And you can see here it says extracting GDAL info. It automatically has recognized it and has determined that my system has GDAL installed on it. So it's now extracting all of that information from the file. And when it's finished, it will let me know a pop-up like this where it says ready to warp. Okay. Before we warp this, though, it has put some control points in at the corners, but you don't need to use them. It also tells us that the datum for this particular LiDAR data set of the iconic sheet mountain is NAD 83 CONUS, that's continental US, and the UTM projection has a UTM projection with a zone of 12. So here, that's GDAL. And before we do the warping, I want to show you one interesting thing, and that is we can now access the GDAL metadata itself, which is shown in this dialog box here. You can see there's a huge amount of information available here. You can copy from this dialog box. You can't modify it or paste it, but it tells us what the projection is, what the datum is. It tells us the coordinate, the corners coordinates and their system, both in meters, in UTM meters, and in degrees, minutes, and seconds. Down here, it tells us how many bands the image has, and so on. So a large number of pieces of information are in here. And you can use MBTileMaker Viewer and GDAL simply as a way of accessing the metadata in any GeoTIFF file. Okay, when you have GDAL installed, by default, warping to spherical Mercator is done by GDAL itself, although you can turn that off if you want by toggling this option in the georeference menu. But I'll show you this, and you won't want to because, in fact, warping is faster using GDAL than using my program itself. It's already done, and the warping is incredibly precise and accurate. Let me show you here. There's a road down here with a road intersection we can zoom in on. We've zoomed into at 400%. That's equivalent to a zoom level of 17.8. And if I toggle the transparency of the overlay, you can see it is spot on the actual road intersection itself. And that's true throughout the map. GDAL warping is extremely accurate. One of the other reasons for using GDAL is that it's extremely accurate and it knows almost any map projection, common map projection available, so that all of your warps will be very accurate and, as you just saw, very fast as well. Now, if I go to File and choose Save Warped Image as a TIFF, it will save a GeoTIFF of this image in spherical Mercator projection with embedded metadata in it. You can then use that TIFF in GIS programs and other programs as well. and it's very fast. I'll save that, and we'll replace the one that's there, and it's sitting there, and it has essentially already done the saving of the image with the metadata in it. Now, I'm going to turn this into an MBTiles file now, and the saving as MBTiles is not done by GDAL, still done by my program, but we'll save the Sheet Mountain MBTiles file here. And as usual, we have to specify the MBTiles parameters. Because Sheep Mountain is close to the edge of a UTM zone, you can see that the wedges on the corners of the image are pronounced because UTM north is quite different than geographic north. And we probably want to keep those transparent, so we're going to choose PNG here. Also, zoom level 18 is probably more than we want. This particular LiDAR image is a 2-meter LiDAR image, so a zoom level of 17 should be plenty for detailed for our purposes. So we hit OK, and it will take a little while to create the image. Why would you want to use GDAL? Well, if all the maps that you're warping, none of them are geotiffs and none of them have embedded metadata, then there's no reason to use GDAL. You can use the affine transformation that my program does quite nicely, and will give you reasonably accurate warps for your images and your subsequent use. But if you want to use GDAL, you want to use your data at high zoom levels, like with some of these LiDAR images and so on, then you might want to consider it, especially if the data already have GeoTIFF metadata embedded in them. Another reason for installing GDAL is because if you use my program GMDE and you're finding that converting DEMs from GeoTIFF format, which you download from the USGS and other sites, into grid float for my program is a problem. I do have a small app, which is a wrapper for the GDAL commands to convert the TIFF DEMs to grid float DEMs automatically and quickly, so you can use them in GMDE. All right, we're now into, this is the MBTiles panel of the folder. This is our MBTiles file here, and you can see the beautiful structures involved and the resolution of the bedding and so on. One thing I haven't shown so far is the fact that the MBTiles pane here actually has 3 subpanes in it. We've seen the map pane before. That's what you're looking at right now, and you can zoom in and out with the scroll wheel or by using this slider over here in the upper left corner. But there are 2 other panes, so let's take a quick look at what those do. These provide access to the metadata about the file, and you can see such things as the name of the file, the format of the tiles in the file, the minimum and maximum zoom, the bounding box for the file, and a few other features about that. But one of the interesting things is you can actually access and look at the individual tiles that make up an MBTiles file. And if you just select a random one of these out of the 6,400 tiles that are in this image of Sheep Mountain, you will see that it a whole bunch of details about the 256 by 256 pixel image that makes up any MBTiles file. This is quite useful because in this app, in the georeference pane, if you drag any MBTiles file onto that pane, it will automatically open and show you all these data. So you can use this app as a viewer for MBTiles file to interrogate them. If you have problems with MBTiles file, you can do some troubleshooting here and find out which tiles are defective, and you can see not only the total number of tiles, but also the number of meters on the side of the tile and resolution of the tile and so on. Okay, that's about it for this screencast. It was short and sweet, and I really don't have much more to tell you about this app. I do recommend that you put on GDAL on your system if you're going to do a bunch of geospatial processing, and you'll find that useful in the long run and fairly transparent because MBTileMakerViewer does all the work for you. Hope that helps, and I will leave you with this beautiful picture of the Sheep Mountain anticline. Thanks.